The Chicago Bears are getting the ninth overall pick, along with the 61st. They're also getting the Panthers' 2024 first round pick and their 2025 second, and DJ Moore, who last year had a down season. I think the Bears realize one fact, and it's that Justin Fields going to his third season starts their contention window now. And it sounds crazy for a team that lost 10 straight games to end last season, but for the Bears, they already have the offense in place. They have one of the most explosive rushing attacks, an above average offensive line, which we didn't expect around here. And now you put in DJ Moore, a top 12, top 15 receiver, and it comes down to that defense with the defensive minded head coach next year to take a big step forward.
So, what are you asking me? What's the question?
So there's no question per se, but do you think the Bears get a home run here of a return, given they were probably not going to take a quarterback anyways?
Yeah, seeing the what played out, like they weren't going to take a quarterback, like you said. I tweeted immediately when I saw this. Chicago, hit a home run, like you said. They won this deal. I mean, they got a really good draft haul. And I like that they just got a lot of draft capital for that. And then on Carolina side, man, I'm not liking this move at all. I mean, I guess this is what I could say for it, right? Because Carolina is probably this person, their executives are these people. If you believe in a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young, which I'm guessing are the two guys that they are eyeballing, I think they're the only two guys that you would see this type of jump up to trade up for. And I think it's more CJ Stroud, if I'm not mistaken. If you look at the betting odds when they traded up, it like skyrocketed to CJ Stroud being the favorite, which I'm not surprised for. He's got the prototypical height and everything from a quarterback. Bryce Young is dealing with the height issues and whatnot. So in Carolina's point of view, they're like, if we believe in the quarterback, we believe he's the one. We did a great job and we made a great move. But from the outside looking in, for me, I don't believe in these quarterbacks in this draft class. I'm not very high on any of them, really. So I don't really like the move. I don't. I think they gave up too much. Just like, and then there's rumors, John, that they might trade back. They might trade down.
It's
Like what?
I've never heard it.
Why not just trade for the second or third overall pick then? Like, why are you going all the way to?
Well, they're leaking that to gain leverage. Look, I mostly come away at the standpoint the Panthers overpaid for the first overall pick, but this is the type of return. And in my eyes, next year would be the type of quarterback class to make this type of move because Caleb Williams and Drake May, two sophomores who lit up this past season, have even better physical traits and even more upside than that of a CJ Stroud. But to be honest with you, BC, I think that the Panthers might hit some people here with a little left hook, upper jab by taking Anthony Richardson with the first overall pick because let's be honest, he has the highest upside out of all of these quarterbacks athletically. CJ Stroud, though, let's not get it twisted, he has the highest floor. And so, given Frank Reich in Indianapolis had 8 different starting quarterbacks in 5 seasons, I can fully understand him making this move, saying, okay, let me get someone who's young and got a high ceiling or a high floor. But on that rookie deal, he can make a huge difference for me on day one. He can come in and start right away. That's why I think the favorite should be CJ Stroud by a landslide. And truth be told, I think they're more likely to take Anthony Richardson with this pick than they are to take Bryce Young.
Nah, I don't see Anthony Richardson being. That's too much. That's way too much. Yeah, no, not with Anthony Richardson.
He has the highest.
I know the athleticism, but he also has the highest chance of his career being the shortest because of the style he plays.
This is the first overall pick. In the history of teams trading up for a first round pick of a quarterback, they only come out with 2 different standpoints. They're either incredibly happy they did it because they got a franchise quarterback, or they're incredibly disappointed. The last team to trade up for a quarterback was the 49ers in 2021 when they got Trey Lance with the 3rd overall selection.
It's not looking good so far.
Not looking great, clearly.
I mean, we haven't seen a lot, but it's just not looking good from what we've seen.
2020, the Green Bay Packers moved up 4 spots to 26 to get Jordan Love, to be dated.
Yeah, we have no
2019, the
idea.
Jets moved up 3 spots to get Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
That's
that
an F.
failed.
But then the year before, the Ravens nabbed Lamar Jackson with the 32nd pick. That's an A. They just gave up 2 seconds to get him, and they got
Different
themselves an
situation.
MVP.
Different circumstance. It because it's late. That's like that's the last pick in the draft. It's completely different circumstance, but it's similar, but not same.
20 spots before that, the Cardinals moved up 5 spots to get Josh Rosen. That's an F. And a couple spots before that, the Bills went up to get Josh Allen with
Mhm.
the 7th overall pick. The year before, Buffalo traded Kansas City, the 10th overall pick, which they then used on Patrick Mahomes. In that same draft class, the Houston Texans moved up to pick 12, gave the Browns 3 first round picks, by the way, and they got Deshaun Watson.
John, what are the draft trades for the number 1 overall pick? What's the history on that? I'm trying to remember the last time somebody traded and took a quarterback.
The last time would be Jared Goff, if memory serves, when the Rams moved up, giving up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 more picks to move up 14 spots. And Jared Goff was obviously a pretty average return, I would say.
For the number 1 overall pick, yeah. If he was like a second or third, he would that would have been great. You would have been like, oh wow, look at that. But when you get traded up for it and you're the number 1 overall pick, yeah, he's not lived up to the expectations. It's kind of like what I say about Alex Smith.
The other quarterback was Robert Griffin, who was taken at the 2nd overall
Yes.
pick. But in many draft classes, RG3 would have went number 1 overall, I think. And he was
Yeah.
rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Some of the other quarterbacks BC include Paxton Lynch, Johnny Manziel, my guy, and Robert Griffin, but also Teddy Bridgewater, who was another 32nd overall pick. The history shows you either love it or you hate it if you're the team that makes that move. And really, for all of these teams that move out later in the first round to get extra assets, they never really come away disappointed because they're usually not going to take a quarterback if they're in position to move back in the first
I
place.
will say this: Chicago for this year didn't get that much of a. I mean, they got a second. Well, I guess not getting a first round pick this year too was offset by getting DJ Moore, your number 1 receiver. So I guess that's fair.
And I think with Moore, last year had a down season, only 800 yards. He has never had a real starting quarterback he can rely on. He barely got to play with Cam Newton. Now he gets Justin Fields. There's no more excuses for Justin. Quite frankly, you give him 3 starters, you give him an above average offensive line, and a defense that's going to have a lot of pieces and invest into the defensive front. And this Bears team's in position to make it to 8 or 9 wins next season because DJ Moore is in the mix. And this receiving core, you could add in another receiver in the 3rd round, and it could be one of the better ones in the NFL.
I'll say this about Chicago, and I'm just bear with me because I want to look up their divisional record last year. Okay, they were they were 0-6 in their division. Chicago was 1-11 against the conference. Lost their last 10. This is what I'm going to say. Chicago did the right thing, right? I like the move a lot. I really still see them as the worst team in the division still. Even that I'm not, and like here's the thing, John. I know we've had this Jordan Love debate back and forth, but what I'm gonna say is I don't think you've ever heard me say that he's trash, like he's garbage. I've always just come from the standpoint we don't know yet. Like you know what I mean? Like I see like some of our videos and stuff.
Completely fair take one.
People are like telling me like, dude, Aaron Rodgers got traded up for this guy. I never said that was a problem. I was just saying that we don't know what he is yet, and we got to see. He's prototypical. He's got the size. He's got the arm strength. He's got some athleticism. But I just got to see consistently. I'm still going to take Green Bay over Chicago coming into next year. I'm taking Detroit. I think Detroit has a very live shot to win the division.
Agreed.
And then I still think Minnesota is still a player, even though we all know that they're frauds. They're still a good team that can rack up wins in the regular season. We know that. So Chicago they still got a lot of cap space, right?
70 million, even with DJ Moore's 20 million.
Yeah, because they had like 95 million, I think, before that move. So they still got an insane amount of cap space. We'll see if they're players this year. I don't know what the free agency class looks like next year, but this year's is not that popping. It's not like that, like insanely like, a bunch of big time players are there. maybe next year is. So maybe Chicago is eyeing that out. We'll see how it plays out for Chicago. But as of right now, great move for Chicago, but you're still the worst team in the NFC North.
All right. Grading the Bears Panthers first overall pick trade, I'm giving the Bears an A for the return, but you have to hand those picks. That's the first thing. And for Carolina, I'm not in love with these quarterback prospects. I'm giving them a C or a B minus, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
C plus to B minus. I like your. I would agree with both your grades. I can't hear you.
That could be an F if they don't hit on the quarterback.
Oh yeah,
It could also
yeah,
be an
100%.
A if they do. If they make, Jordan Love, not Jordan Love, sorry. If they make Anthony Richardson the pick or CJ Stroud and one of those two quarterbacks pops in their first 2 or 3 seasons, you did pretty well in that trade.
Well, I mean, we'll see because they just traded away their best receiver. Their
Yeah, that's
offense.
another great point. Who is
Yeah,
this rookie quarterback in Carolina could be thrown to?
yeah,
Shi Smith, Laviska Shenault, and Terrace Marshall.
yeah. I know a lot of people like Terrence Marshall, but he still hasn't shown us a lot.
Matt Roll didn't like him too much.
No, the O line did a solid job last year. The running backs played it. They still got all the running backs in Carolina.
Deontay Foreman's a beast.
Yeah,
He's another one of those backs from 2017 where there's like 8 different Pro Bowl RBs.
yeah, it's wild. So they do need to get a receiver. So after John, after the first overall pick for Carolina, where do they pick next? Third round?
No, they've got their second round pick. Because remember,
They got two.
that second rounder they gave 61 is from the CMC trade. So they still got a pick in the top 40, somewhere
Gotcha.
around like
I'm
38,
looking at
high
that
30s.
right now. I'm looking at that right now. Oh wow. Oh, they still have the 39th overall. Wow, I'm so surprised that Chicago wasn't able to say no. We want the 39th overall pick.
Well, they did grab the number one receiver. So